Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive, and this one is going to be a wild one. Today, we're looking at the connection between T.D. Jakes
Mm.
and Diddy. And you might be asking yourself, what could a pastor and a hip-hop mogul possibly have in common? And also, that is exactly what we're here to try to figure out today. We've got a ton of different sources to try to unpack this whole thing. We've got interviews, we've got articles, social media posts, the whole nine yards.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how faith and public image kind of intersect, and we'll see that with these two figures, T.D. Jakes and Diddy.
So let's just start off by giving everyone a little bit of background here. For anyone who might not know, T.D. Jakes is a pastor. He leads the Potter's House megachurch. And Diddy, I mean, everyone knows Diddy, right? Hip-hop icon entrepreneur, kind of known for a lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, very different worlds on the surface.
Totally. So where does this connection even begin?
Well, their connection actually goes back quite a ways, back to around 2012, starting with Diddy's Revolt TV.
Oh, yeah, Revolt TV. What was that all about?
So Diddy had this series on Revolt TV called Kingdom Culture, and it featured T.D. Jakes.
Okay, so this was like T.D. Jakes going a little bit more mainstream then.
Yeah, it seems like he was trying to reach, a different audience with his message beyond just the, traditional churchgoers.
Interesting. So we know they've been seen together at different events over the years. I mean, Diddy even shouted out T.D. Jakes during his BT Lifetime Achievement Award acceptance speech.
Yeah.
But 2024, that's when things get really interesting.
Yeah, things really took a turn. In 2024, there were all those rumors about T.D. Jakes potentially resigning from the Potter's House.
Right.
And a lot of this was fueled by, online chatter and speculation about incidents connected to Diddy's legal troubles.
Oh, right. And those were pretty serious.
Yeah, very serious.
So, I mean, Diddy was facing federal investigations, lawsuits.
Exactly. And he was adamant that he was innocent, denied all wrongdoing. But the problem was anyone associated with him at the time was under intense scrutiny, and that includes T.D. Jakes.
Right, so the internet's doing what the internet does, and all the speculation starts. People are digging up old videos and just analyzing everything.
Yeah, it was a frenzy.
So how did T.D. Jakes respond to all of this?
Well, in the midst of all this, T.D. Jakes gave a Christmas Eve sermon where he directly addressed the rumors, denied any wrongdoing, and really emphasized the importance of forgiveness and redemption, very much in line with his teachings.
Right.
His spokesperson also publicly denounced the rumors, calling them baseless.
Okay, so what about Diddy? How did he respond?
Well, Diddy took to social media to kind of project this image of resilience and faith, and he would often use T.D. Jakes' voice in his posts.
That's interesting. Do you think he was genuinely leaning on faith at that time, or was that more of a PR move?
It's hard to say. It could be a bit of both. But let's bring in another perspective here.
Okay.
Because things get even more complicated when we hear from Gandil, Diddy's former bodyguard.
Oh, wow, okay.
He did an interview that really shed some light on the situation.
What do you have to say?
Well, he expressed concern about T.D. Jakes being seen at Diddy's parties, which, as we know, were pretty notorious.
Yeah, not exactly the kind of place you'd expect to see a pastor.
Right. And Deal was really struggling to understand why T.D. Jakes would be there. He considered maybe it was for business reasons, or maybe Diddy was seeking some spiritual guidance. But ultimately, he just found the whole situation strange.
Strange is one way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely clashes with T.D. Jakes' image as this spiritual leader.
Absolutely.
Especially given the nature of those parties.
And Deal even suggested that T.D. Jakes' presence might mean he was more involved than just being a casual guest. Now, it's important to note that Deal didn't make any direct accusations against T.D. Jakes, but his observations definitely raised eyebrows.
Absolutely. And, this wasn't the first time that T.D. Jakes has faced public scrutiny. He's had controversies in the past.
That's true.
Whether it was his stance on LGBTQ+ issues, allegations of inappropriate behavior, even things relating to his family.
Like his son's arrest back in 2009. Yeah, that definitely sparked a lot of debate.
Right. And then we have rapper Mace, who claimed there was some kind of deal between Diddy and T.D. Jakes. That hurt him financially.
Yeah, that's a serious accusation. It adds another layer to all of this.
It does, especially when you consider that. Diddy donated $1 million to T.D. Jakes' church back in 2014. So was that donation genuine? Or was there maybe another motive there?
It makes you wonder.
So what we're seeing here is it's just this really complicated web of relationships and rumors, allegations. And it really highlights how image management and public perception can really impact a spiritual leader's message.
Yeah, and it's interesting how these events really force us to think about faith,
Yeah.
celebrity, and you know how those things intersect.
Yeah, and especially in the age of social media, where rumors and speculation can just spread so quick, it really complicates things.
Oh.
We've covered a lot of ground here, but we're just getting started. And in part 2 of this deep dive, we're going to continue unraveling this web and explore some of the other players involved in this story, so stay tuned for that.
So, we've talked about T.D. Jakes and Diddy, but there were a lot of other people caught up in this whole saga. If you look at the legal documents related to Diddy's controversies, it names a really diverse group of people.
Yeah, that's quite the mix.
You've got celebrities like Stevie J. Young, Miami, even Prince Harry gets a mention.
Wow.
It really shows you how wide Diddy's network is.
Yeah, it really does.
And it's interesting to think about, all the different people who are allegedly at these parties. For example, gospel singer Donald Lawrence and the Clark sisters.
Really? I mean, their music is all about faith and inspiration. It's hard to imagine them at one of Diddy's parties.
I know, right? It's a pretty surprising contrast.
Makes you wonder what the atmosphere is really like.
Exactly. You have this mix of people.
And then you have these allegations that Diddy was recording people at these parties without their consent.
Yeah, that adds another layer to this.
It does.
If that's true. It's a serious violation of privacy.
And for someone like T.D. Jakes,
Yeah.
being connected to these events, even just by association, could be really damaging.
Right. Especially given that his career is built on,
Oh.
faith and moral leadership.
Exactly.
That's why I think it's so interesting what Gandil had to say.
Right, the bodyguard.
Yeah, because he doesn't accuse T.D. Jakes of doing anything wrong, but he does question why he would even be in that environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. Trying to balance this message of faith and redemption
Yeah,
with the realities of a complicated world.
exactly. And I think it's important to remember that even public figures,
Even people we might admire.
right, they're complicated. I mean, Diddy, for all his success and charisma, he also has a history of controversy.
That's true.
And that baggage, whether T.D. Jakes intended it or not, it kind of gets attached to him.
It's like these two worlds are colliding. The world of faith and the world of entertainment.
And it's rarely a smooth collision.
What do you think is the most interesting thing about all of this?
I think for me, it's just how it highlights the complexities of human nature. I mean, can someone like Diddy, with his past, really find comfort in faith?
Right.
And can someone like T.D. Jakes navigate the world of celebrity without compromising his own values?
Yeah.
These aren't easy questions to answer.
They're not.
And this whole situation, it really shows us how blurred the lines have become.
Between faith and entertainment,
Yeah.
personal choices, public image.
It's all connected.
And it's in those blurred lines that we find the most interesting stories.
Absolutely.
So, as we head into the final part of our deep dive, I think the big question is, what does it all mean? What are the lasting implications of this whole saga? For both T.D. Jakes and Diddy, we've really gone deep into this whole thing, haven't we?
Yeah.
The connections, the rumors, the controversies. But what does it all really mean? What are the lasting implications for these two guys, for T.D. Jakes and Diddy?
Yeah, I mean, I think this story really makes us think about image, the power of image, and how complicated faith can be, especially when you throw in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, and how that's amplified by social media. It's like everyone's watching and information spreads so fast.
Right, and that information isn't always accurate either.
No, it's not.
So you've got someone like T.D. Jakes, who's built this career on inspiring people with this message of faith and redemption, and now he's connected to Diddy.
Yeah.
And all this controversy, it definitely has an impact.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how this affects his ministry, his congregation, his legacy.
Right, will people start to question him?
Exactly.
Will they see him differently?
And then there's Diddy. I mean, was he really turning to faith? Or was this just a way to protect his image?
It's tough to say. Maybe it was a little bit of both.
Maybe.
But regardless, their relationship, it sparked this really important conversation
About
faith, celebrity, and how we perceive both of those things.
It challenges us to think beyond the surface and to recognize that people are complicated.
I mean, can someone like Diddy really find peace and faith, given his past?
And can someone like T.D. Jakes stay true to his values in the world of celebrity?
Exactly.
It's really fascinating.
And this deep dive, it's shown us how blurry the lines have become.
Between faith and entertainment,
Yeah.
personal choices, and public image.
And it's in those blurred lines where we find the most interesting stories.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up here, We want to leave you with a final thought, given everything we've learned. About T.D. Jakes, his message, his history, and its connection to Diddy. How do you think this impacts his image as a spiritual leader?
That's a great question, and one that's worth thinking about. You can find links to all the sources we used in the show notes. Thanks for joining us on this journey.